everyone. How's it going? How have you all been so far? Uh, Vincent.
Hello.
So, thank you so much to everyone for joining in for Project Showcase 4 at the Appwrite YouTube channel this month. I am Aditya. I'm going to be one of your hosts this evening, and I have Vincent with me as well. And we're both joining in from Appwrite's developer relations team. So, I'm just looking at the chat, and not going to lie, I absolutely love the buzz right now. Quick question for everyone. How many PRs have you already made this month? Do let us know in the chat funds. It's going to be great to know. In the meantime, Vincent, how's the month been for you so far? How are you liking Hacktoberfest?
We have this, no spoilers, but we have this little script that we use to find things we need to address while we were moderating, GitHub for Oktoberfest. So every time I fix a batch of issues, I run the script again. There's a full batch of issues again. It's like a never-ending cycle of just stuff. And yeah, so that's how my month has been. I just keep hitting. What do I need to do next on the script? And I find more people commenting, doing PRs, commenting on issues. It's a shocking amount of activity. I'm loving it.
That sounds really, really exciting. If I'm honest, I think you're quite engaged.
Oh yeah. It's been quite an interesting sort of month, just because I've never seen that many GitHub notifications in my email before. Um, I thought someone had hacked my account when I opened my mailbox, at the beginning of the month, just because it's just a wall of GitHub notifications. It's in its own inbox now. I've had to do that.
I can imagine, and I think Stephen stands with us in solidarity on that as well. It just never ends. But we're gonna keep it coming for sure. The more, the merrier. That's what I'll leave aside. Um, but yeah, good to know. Good to know. I think I believe this is that good sort of activity for sure. We'd be more scared if there wasn't as many emails now, wouldn't
Yep.
we? So far so good. Um, Speaking of contributions and contributors, I think the guest we have today has been a really, really special contributor for Appwrite's community now, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, no, this is. Oh, there's a couple of faces we see, just not just on Discord but everywhere a lot, and this is one of them. It's like you don't have to make
I
an active
absolutely
effort
agree.
to remember their name. Um, it's one of those.
Absolutely agreed. And I think the guest we have, I've caught up with him a few times already at different meetups in person, of course, in Discord and on GitHub for sure. But not gonna lie, I absolutely love chatting with him, just looking at his work. There's so much to learn from that from our contributors, and I'm honestly really happy to have him as our guest for today. So I think if we can honestly keep talking about this guest all day long if we want, but let's give him a chance as well to come up and introduce himself once, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think we can't do him justice without just having him speak for himself.
Agreed. So I think if we all want to give a little round of applause in the chat, let's give it up for Bishwajeet or Biswa.
Hey everyone.
Welcome.
Well,
Hey,
thanks for such a lovely intro. I was just laughing and all.
yeah,
Well, yeah.
Nice T-shirt.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Glad
might
to
be
work
the
in
only one
Hacktoberfest, right?
without proper swag. Need to fix that next time.
Oh yeah, I think we've got some really cool swag in the works for this year as well. So you're definitely gonna have some cool stuff very soon. And then that's for everyone in the chat as well. By the way, we've actually got some really cool swags for all contributors to Appwrite. So looking forward to your work. Now I'm
Yeah.
not gonna steal Biswa's limelight here for sure. So Biswa, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself once and tell us a little bit about what you do and yeah.
Yep. Okay. So my name is Bishwajeet Parhi, but I prefer to be called as Biswa. I'm currently an undergrad student pursuing Bachelor of Technology in the field of Computer Science and Engineering. I've been part with an active with the Appwrite as an open source contributor for the past 1 year. Yeah, and yep, I've been active with it. I've seen how it has grown a lot. Means I was there. I remember when there was a zero point 0.8 version, and it has reached 1.1 version right now. So, and it's all due to the all the open source contributors right there. So just kudos to all everyone. Apart from that, yeah, you could see me in the community meetups as well. As Aditya said, we just keep poking around each other. And yeah, I'm also a content writer. I love playing games. So if you want to just catch up with me playing FPS games, yeah, I'm the guy. Yeah, that's pretty much about me. Yeah, no big intro. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I heard you mentioned that you got involved with AppTrade back when AppTrade was at version 0.8. Now I know
Yep.
I've been at AppTrade for a little over a year now, and I joined a little while after point 0.8 came out. So I think you've been a part of the AppTrade community the longest out of the three of us, which is really really cool. Um,
Means
so
Appwrite is awesome.
Biswa, thank you so much. Speaking of that, why don't we learn a little bit about your project that you want to talk about today as well? I think that's going to be really, really cool to know, right?
Yep. So should I share the slides or
Oh,
you
yeah,
just want to big?
absolutely.
I think my screen went down. Let me just bring it back up in.
Yeah,
And here it goes. Here it goes. And goes. You can see my screen up, right?
awesome. I believe I have it here with us. Good to go.
And all righty. So just give me a couple of seconds. And voila. Is my screen visible? Right? So I can hear your voice. Sorry. Oh, yeah, just muted. Okay.
Yeah, we're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's just joined from all over the world. I'm so glad you're just watching the stream, and I couldn't be more happier. I'm actually pretty excited to talk about this project, and I hope you are all as well. So let's get started. I gave my introduction a bit, so nothing much more to talk about it. But I do want to one mention, since I'm an active open source contributor at Appwrite, you could find me much more active in the Discord community as well as the GitHub. But I'm not as much as active as the Steven. Steven is the biggest guy here. Means you just wake anytime you could see Steven all day active. Means he's the biggest bot than me. So let's talk more about my project. So what is it? Yeah. So it's a awesome Appwrite Snippets collection of commonly used Appwrite APIs. It increases speed of development by eliminating most of the boilerplate code associated with it while making using Appwrite in a project. But why awesome? Means why did I coin the term awesome? Well, as mentioned before, Appwrite is awesome. And since we are making snippets of an awesome project, snippets plus awesome makes it awesome Appwrite. And I did thought of much more names like Appwrite Snippets or just Snippets or VSCode Snippets, but this one sounds much more good. Fascinating, isn't it? Yeah, that's what she said. So how I built it? Well, or the motivation behind it? Well, that's an interesting question. Uh, a few months back, while I was working on a personal project, I was using Appwrite as a backend as a service. I found that writing the database code was too much boilerplate. Means there was too much. I have to just copy paste again the same thing entire again and again. So that time it struck an idea. Means why not create a snippets for it? I googled and I found how to create snippets for VS Code, and I found this. Yeah, this page it gave me anything. It told me I need to use Node.js. Okay, I have it. generator and the VSC, some of the packages were required. Then I find out this guide on how to create the snippets. and that's it. Done. I'll talk about this how you can create your own snippets in the contents section here below. Uh, it's time for some demo. Let me show you how you can use the snippets and how you can install it in your VS Code, and let's get it started. Well, for this, I actually have cloned a project from the Appwrite repository itself. It's a to-do app, and it was quite old. Means I upgraded to version 1.1. Means I upgraded dependencies, enabled the nut safety, and just cleaned out a bit of more of code. So, and I kept some few of the functions to see if it's working or not. And you could see my camera dark because the light went out, and I was prepared for it. So yeah, as you can see, these functions, yeah, sign up, update, login, and I just have to implement them. So if I do this for creating the implementing the login function, I have a command. Let's say CRS email session. It should do the trick. Now all you need to do is change the variables. If you want the variables, you could change them. I would say user. I would say I would want to write an email. Well, this should be a better one. Like you should add an email or you want to pass an object. But since this set contains an object, I guess we could make this better. We'll talk about this more in the content section. And let's keep the password as password. Talking more about it, sign up. For the sign up, it says CR account. It also gives you a description about what it does. So yeah, it's good for you. Just give the response. I would like to keep the ID to be unique. I would like to get an email, and password should be this. So yeah, there are plenty more snippets you could make use of. Let's deep dive into how you can add the data. For adding data, since it's using the database, we need create document. We just click on CR we get the response. We need the database ID. Database ID should be in the app constants dot database ID should be in the okay in the collection ID, and let's give a document ID to be unique for now. And for the data,
Biswa, so
it's
sorry to interrupt you. Could we just
yeah.
zoom in a little and increase the
Oh
font
yeah,
size? It
sure,
would
sure,
make it
sure,
easier to
sure,
see.
sure. Is it visible perfectly, or should I zoom in a little bit? Oh,
I think it's better. If we can just zoom in one size more, I think that'll be great. Yeah.
okay. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, I would just wanted to add data. So add data dot to map. Add data is a custom object which was created back in the to-do app. So all we need is to map this function to send a map inside the data parameter, as you can see here. And I don't want any read-write permissions for now. Let's keep it general. Same goes for the insert data since it gets a list of data. So I would say list document. The response, I should give the database ID, the collection ID, and that's it. That should do the trick. App constants, database ID, app, app constants, collection ID. And yeah, this is pretty much about how you can use the snippets. To know more about it means to get a hang of what all more are there. You could check out my repo. Uh, you could check out my repo. Uh, inside. Let's talk about. You can check out my repo first. Let me show you my repo first. This is the repo. You could see the snippets. It's how it looks like. It gives the roadmap and it gives the list of all the snippets which are currently available, and you can use them. It gives the shortcut of the account snippets which are available. It gives all the snippets of the database, of the storage, of the teams, and so on. Let's move on. So let's talk more about the contributing section. For the contributing, I've added a REPL QR code. If you want to scan out, you can scan it, or I'm sure Aditya would send a link to the repository in the chat itself. So let's talk more about the contribution. I would recommend, highly recommend, reading the contributing guide. Means I've tried my best to explain everything to get started contributing to this awesome Appwrite project in a much easier way. If you still believe that there's something that should be there or it's missing, please go on create an issue, and I would be happy to discuss more about it and maybe help you to create a PR for it. So let's move on to the contributing guide, and let me give a bit explanation of how things work. Let's give me a brief overview. You go back to the contributing guide. You could see the algo expert goes, and there's a simple things means installing locally. You need. I mentioned before that you need Node.js to be installed in the system. Just clone it and fork it, and just make a demo check on how things works. Now, since this is a snippets project, if you want to add more snippets, this is how things should usually work. You have to create a file name of the name.code.snippets, and you just need to follow this pretty structure. And if you're adding a new file or creating a new folder for the different languages, you just need to add it inside the package.json. For the new snippets target means how you can create the body. I embedded a link inside the page where you can see how you can create the snippets inside the snippets for it. Means you could see the inside the Visual Studio page. Okay, it's slow, but okay. And this should give you a brief overview of what's going on out of the box. And while we are at it, I wanted to talk about how you can contribute. Means right now we saw that there shouldn't be any brackets. Means there should be any what do you say between them. So what you can do is
Can we zoom in once again?
yes, my bad.
Yeah. No worries, no worries. Also, I think if we just close the file, yeah, looks good.
So yeah, if you could see this, let's remove this bracket everywhere. I'll use this, remove this, and remove this in the multiple sections. I press Ctrl F2 to get all the similar selections selected all at once, so that the cursor could be placed on them and would remove them all at once. Those are very pretty handy tools if you know all the VSCode command shortcuts. Same goes with the email. This password, this, and I guess most of things have been okay, not done pretty, but okay. You get the hang of it. Means which of them have the similar selections. So if we try this using, what I need to do is just press F5, make sure you have npm installed, and it should open a new VS Code instance right here. And you could select a language to check it if it works for you. I will not use this for now. I'll use start. And if I see our S right now, yeah, this should work properly. Now, as you can see, it's working properly. Means I could change the variable name. I could change this if I want to add it in brackets. Voila. I want the email object to be used this, or just add the brackets. Yeah, it's working properly. Now, since it's working properly, all I have to do is commit those changes, make a PR, and we are good to go with it. Coming back to our presentation. So what the things you can actually contribute to? You can add more snippets for the client SDKs. Means currently our snippets support only web and Flutter. For the client SDKs, yeah, for the web and Flutter. But you can add support for more languages. There are Android. There are pretty much more things like Android. Let's say Android. For adding more server snippets, there are Python. There's Node.js. There is .NET. There are a lot of SDKs for which you can contribute and add those snippets for the server side. You can fix existing typo error in the snippets like the one I showed you before. Means there shouldn't be a bracket, but you could fix that. You can create an issue and make a PR for it. Or even more thing, you can add more customization of the existing snippets. Like if you read the snippets website in the VS Code, you could see there are much more customization you can do by setting some default variables or adding much more things you could see. And just make a PR, and if it works on your machine, it should probably work on my machine too. Make a PR, get it reviewed, and if all goes well, you made your first hack-to-fist contribution. Yeah, before that, also I want to tell you that this is the first time Awesome Appwrite Snippets is participating in the Hack-to-Fest. So if you really wanted to make your first PR, this is one of the best way and a much more beginner-friendly way to get started with it. Yeah, that's pretty much I have to say. So any questions for now?
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Biswa. I checked out the project earlier and I've given it a start, and I'm actually planning to contribute a little myself. And I know we're getting a lot of love from the folks here in the chat as well. We've got comments here. Um, by the way, Alex loves cats.
Saying that I love the cat memes,
Yeah.
but they're awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great presentation, honestly. Really, really cool work. By the way, folks, any questions you have, you can drop in the chat below. In the meantime, I do have a question as well. So, Vishwa, for snippets, are we currently using the IntelliSense autocomplete? Is that what we're doing right now?
Yep, it
All
works.
right.
IntelliSense automatically
Um,
works.
That makes sense. Definitely, because I think I've tried out VS Code extensions a long while back in the past, and I do remember them having support for that. So IntelliSense works, makes a lot of sense. And like, does that just automatically detect the language as well, or do you need dedicated
Yep.
language extensions installed as well?
For this, the thing is, if you could see in the package.json, the thing which
Okay.
I'm mentioning here, it also mentioned which language this snippet is being used. So it automatically detects what's being used.
That makes sense.
You could add, you can even add a list. You can even add an array, which also should support JavaScript, TypeScript as well.
That makes sense. Because I've noticed that times when I'm working on my own projects, I know VS Code does auto detect a language, and then it asks me if I want to activate a certain extension for that or so on. So does this also need any additional extensions to be installed, or is it good to go?
Okay, not this. Just this extension, and just install my extension, and you're good to go.
All right. Okay. That makes sense. Matei has a question in the meantime as well. Are the existing snippets up to date with Appwrite 1.0, or do some need to be updated?
I recently updated all those snippets to 1.0. Means just a few days back, I recently updated everything to 1.0, and it should work out of the box for you.
That's awesome.
While there may be some discrepancies, which could be unseen, but yeah, if you found them, please make a PR for it.
No, I have a real spicy question, and I hope this is not putting you on the spot. Have you considered doing something similar to how we generate our SDKs to generate the snippets? Because I'm thinking,
I never thought about.
I have this idea, and this might be my Hacktoberfest contribution, because now I want to do it. Because I really wanted snippets for Appwrite for a long time, because we generate our SDKs and we have a lot of them, and so it might be easier if some of these are generated. I might try it. So I'm just throwing ideas out here.
Then maybe we just need a new type of generator package, like the UI generator generates extensions for it, similar.
So I will say one thing.
Yeah.
I think probably more than just generating snippets, you'll pretty much need to generate an entire extension here, and you'll need a basis similar to the scaffolding
Okay.
the VS Code extensions environment offers, because right now there are also some limitations as to which languages you can build with. And I mean, we've got Twig templating we're using with PHP. I'm not sure if we've got similar examples, a similar system or framework with JavaScript or TypeScript as well. And I think I'm not sure if Python support is yet here, but otherwise, those are the only two other languages you can build VS Code extensions in. But honestly, it'll be a really, really good project to explore and see if that's possible.
There's no guarantees of success, but I'm going to try it.
Why not add a new feature like generate extension for all the for the most popular code editors like Atom, like IntelliJ, like
Right.
VS Code? Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be
Other
good to do.
ideas.
Just yeah, other ideas. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very much like a JetBrains IntelliJ type of guy rather than a VS Code person. So you're giving me more ideas. Or you're giving everyone ideas. I'm not calling these my own. It'll be great if you can get like lots of contributions. These are big ideas.
That was the other question on my mind. I think we need extensions for a lot of these other platforms as well, right? Although I will say I am thoroughly a VS person.
VS Code.
Like for half of my .NET stuff, I'm not even using code. I'm straight up on the Visual Studio IDE. So I'm a VS person, safe to say.
Visual Studio is one I haven't heard of someone use in a long time.
I think we need to have a chat, Vincent, after this.
Yeah, we need to have a chat about this.
I think the interesting thing though is because these extensions are there for VS Code, you can probably use them across environments like Gitpod as well, right? Is that something we've tried already? Bishwa, is it also available on other online remote work environments like Gitpod as well?
I actually thought about this for making it online. Right now, there's no as such thing, but I was actually thinking how if you could develop it on the remote code spaces, but how would you debug it actually? Since what it does right now, it opens up a new VS Code terminal. In the browser, I guess you can't just open a new VS Code terminal instance again, and you could just connect back and forth with those same two tabs again. So until unless if there's some specific thing which Gitpod or the other online remote IDs could do, I guess I'm afraid I have to say no for at this moment.
So I think, as far as developing an extension, that's probably one thing, but Gitpod does use a registry that you can probably list at. Aside from the VS Code marketplace, there is, I think it's called the OpenVSX registry. You can probably see if you can have the project listed there, because even if someone's not contributing using Gitpod, they can still probably use it in their projects through Gitpod.
I'm trying it right now to see if it's available on Gitpod. I'm curious. I did have another question specifically about contributions. So right now, with the way that your repository is set up, do the PRs need to contribute like an entire set of snippets for like a service, a language, or can it be like individual endpoints?
For now, what I'm actually thinking is, since this is the Hackers period, I was thinking just make snippets for a particular services for now. Like just make for a client, just make for account for a particular language. You're of course free to do for a whole set of languages after the Hackers period. But right now I'm just thinking just keep it short. And
small PRs.
Well. Yeah, small PRs, yeah.
Cool.
I think that probably makes it more beginner friendly for someone who's trying this on the first time as well.
Yeah.
Smaller steps of progress definitely help. I think the answer is probably going to be no, but I'm seeing a lot of love for Vim right now. Are we getting support for Vim in the near future as well?
So
I actually learned Vim once, and after 2-3 months, I just logged into Vim again, and I forgot how to cut it, and it really happened with me.
So for all of you, the IDE nerds, there's something for you all to check out. There's something called Spacemax. So it's Emacs with Vim bindings, and it looks pretty, and there's like a whole plugin system, and it's like very well maintained right now. A lot of people that I know that are in the firmware and embedded space really enjoy it because, you know, lower level programming languages, they need to feel special. No, I'm kidding. They need to just, they like the aesthetics of the terminal. And so like a lot of them are on Linux, right? And so Spacemacs is a popular choice. I tried it a little bit, but it was like what you guys were saying. It's like you learn Vim one day and you're like, I finally understand it. And then the very next day you're like, I don't remember any of this anymore. Vim is beyond me. So.
Why does Spacemacs look like
Nice.
it's only available for Mac and Linux, not Windows?
Well, you know, they're elitists. No, I'm kidding. But you wouldn't use Emacs on Windows, right?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I will say though, I do like I do end up using Vim a few times when I'm working on anything in WSL. Like I mean, I can use VS Code, but sometimes it's just quicker. So it's to just get into Vim and makes those smaller edits and get out that quickly. So I mean, technically though with WSL you could end up using it in Windows as well, if
Yep.
I'm not wrong, because
Yep.
you're effectively running an instance of the OS, right? It's a virtualized environment, so
Yep.
you should ideally be able to run it on Windows as well.
There has to be a way.
Yeah.
If you put your mind to it, that you can use Vim on Windows. Although
Yeah.
it's kind of, you know, weird, but it'll be fun.
I mean, Vim works for sure, so probably Spacemacs should, because within WSL at least you can actually use Vim on Windows. And I think, I'm not sure if this is true, but Git Bash might have some support as well.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Actually, there's an extension called Vim in VS Code, so you can use Vim straight out in VS Code as well.
I don't know why somebody would want to do that, but I'm not hating on VS Code. I'm just saying. But yeah, no, that sounds cool. I gotta try it.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just checking the clock. We're actually about to go over. We're going overtime. So, do we have any questions from the audience as well? In the meantime, any last questions that anyone might want to ask? Even if not, I know Biswa's active on a lot of social media channels. Biswa, do you want to share some of those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can see here.
Awesome. So, in case any of you have any doubts after this and want to get active contributing to the project, I know I shared the link earlier as well, but let me throw that in once again.
Also, you can reach out to me in the Appwrite Discord server.
Awesome. So we've got the project link there as well. But in case anyone wants to reach out to Biswa, you can do that on his socials. Within the Appwrite Discord server, I know he's pretty active there for sure. So, yeah. With that being said, But yeah, with that being said, thank you so much, Biswa. It was really, really cool and exciting learning about your project. And I'm actually probably going to be contributing some snippets as well, because I've been trying and playing around with a few languages aside from my comfort C#. But definitely, I think this is a good place to try out something beyond my comfort zone for sure. So, yeah. And folks, make sure that you go ahead and use. Oh, I love C#. It's a lovely language, absolutely fantastic. But yeah, folks, make sure that you go ahead, check out the project and give it a start, please. But we're celebrating open source this month. So it's a project worth celebrating for sure. That being said, thank you so much for joining in, Biswa. It was honestly a pleasure having you. I loved learning about the project and our little conversation around Vim. For sure, that was fun. And can't wait to see what you do and how the project grows over the rest of the month.
Yep. Thank you for having me. I'm also pretty much excited about what this project could be turned out in the future.
We're
All right.
excited to see our ecosystem grow. Appwrite loves its ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Awesome. Great. Thanks once again, Biswa, and see you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So that was a fun presentation, right, Vincent?
Oh, that was fun.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's actually going to be a really impactful project for a lot of our developers because I think we've got a lot of folks using VS Code, right? I know
Yep.
I'm one of those for sure, and I can't help imagine, but there's going to be a few more for sure in our community. Just a teeny tiny number of people.
I think I think the vast majority of our developers are probably on VS Code, so this is an amazing opportunity. What I really think is
Absolutely.
great about this project, after looking through the code base, is how easy it is to get started with contributions. Like it is, if you want to be crazy and have crazy ideas like me, it's an option. But like to get started contributing to this project is so simple. And I think if like anyone is at all just been stuck with like massive code bases that like are very involved to contribute to, and they're a little intimidated, this would be a great place to start.
I absolutely agree. I was looking at the project structure earlier as well. It's definitely very easy to understand, and that contributing guide really tells you what to do.
Yep.
It's got everything there, right?
Yep.
Whether you need information about VS Code extensions, learning about
Mhm.
snippets, or just creating your first snippet itself.
Yep.
It's a fantastic contributing guide. So I do hope that folks here will go ahead and check it out and give it a try.
It's got all the ingredients of a good open source project in the making, and think of it as a worthwhile long term investment in terms of contributing.
Absolutely
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, that absolutely agreed with that. Um, all right, I know we're going up, and as much as I'd love to continue the conversation, I think it's been a great stream so far. We've all had a decent bit of fun.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I guess it's a good time to probably come and close this live stream as well. Thank you so much to everyone for joining in, and huge shout out to Biswa for sharing about the project. I absolutely loved learning more about it, and I hope you all will go ahead and give it a look once again.
Yep. Make
And
sure you give it a star on GitHub.
absolutely. And just as we had this project showcase, I know we're going to be having lots more all across the month.
Mhm.
So if you want to stay in the loop about all of these different activities, go ahead and check out our Hacktoberfest website. I know we've got all our streams listed there already. And aside from that, we're also going to be having quite a few community connects. And these are going to be spaces where you can come, relax, chill with us, talk to us, because we're going to be hosting these in our Discord server. So if any of you want to go ahead and participate in these, I know our first one for the month is going to come up on Saturday evening. So anyone who wants to participate, go ahead. You can join the Appwrite Discord server. It's a fantastic place to connect with other Appwrite contributors, Appwrite builders, and generally people in tech. We've
Mhm.
also got the entire Appwrite team
Yep.
there. So in case you have any doubts, you need any help, it's the best place to join us. I have shared for the link for that in our chat as well. So you can go ahead and join in as as soon as possible. I think that's probably the best way to,
Yep.
to keep that.
I've
But
uh, I've I definitely think it's one of those places that's worth checking out. If you've been disappointed by other Discord channels that are tech related, you won't be by this one. It's the honestly the best one I've seen. So check out our
and
Discord channel.
besides, there's Biswa and Steven there, so
Yeah,
you'll
exactly.
never be left unattended. We've got people who are
Yeah,
always there to help out.
they're in two
So,
different time zones. They're always on. You know.
oh yeah, it truly is a global server.
Yeah, you'll never be alone again.
So yeah, once again, thank you so much to everyone for joining in, and see you all soon.
See y'all soon.
Take care. Bye.